Good evening, and welcome to our special report on the global challenges that define the world we live in today. The interconnections between population growth, poverty, hunger, malnutrition, and food insecurity have become increasingly apparent in shaping our societal and economic landscapes. Alongside these pressing issues, we also explore the impacts of gender inequality, ongoing conflicts, climate change, and migration, which collectively influence the progress of global development. Tonight, we aim to provide a comprehensive analysis of how these challenges are intertwined and why addressing them requires immediate attention and collaboration from all sectors, governments, organizations, and individuals alike. Using the latest data and insights, we will shed light on how these factors impact our communities and the steps we can take to foster sustainable solutions. Stay tuned as we dive into the complexity of these critical issues that affect not only the present, but the future of generations to come.
Eight billion people. That's now the size of our human family. It's a sign of success. People everywhere live longer, healthier lives. Yet some people worry, isn't 8 billion too many? Climate crisis, poverty, crowded cities. Doesn't the world just have too many people? The answer is not so simple. Population numbers are not the whole story. Focusing on numbers obscures real issues, like how wealthier people, a global minority, generate almost all greenhouse gas emissions, and how the solution to climate change is not fewer people, but fewer emissions, or how oppressing women never accomplishes anything except oppression. Societies that thrive are those that guarantee women's empowerment and bodily autonomy. We share our planet. We must share its resources fairly and wisely, with respect to the rights and choices inherent to each one of us, knowing that there is room for all of us. Human beings are our greatest resource, our best hope to find the ways forward as a human family. Let's start by putting aside worry about 8 billion so we can create a world that works for 8 billion. A world of infinite possibility.
Have you ever thought about how much stuff you use every day? What about where all of that stuff comes from? You might be surprised to find out just how much we take from the Earth. But there is one big problem with humanity's growing population. The Earth isn't getting any bigger. The Earth's resources have to provide for all living creatures, but humanity's needs, and I'm using that term loosely, continue to increase over time. You might be thinking, duh, of course humanity needs more, there are more humans. But the problem is that humanity's resource consumption is increasing at a higher rate than our population growth. In other words, humans are becoming increasingly resource inefficient for the Earth. Just think about how much we take and what we use it for.
The Philippines is one of the most populated nations around the world, as recorded by the United Nations, with around 113 million people, ranking it as the 13th largest on the list out of 193 countries. This has, in turn, become a problem. After all, the Philippines is a relatively small nation, holding only about 298,000 square kilometers of total land area. Such an issue has brought the nation to have a domino effect in its issues. It bore in rising poverty rates, housing crisis, unemployment issues, and the list goes on. In fact, the nation's capital region, Metro Manila, is said to be one of the most densely populated regions in the world. Approximately 21,000 people are living in just 1 square kilometer, which is insane.
Current statistics indicate that nearly half the world's population lives in poverty, defined as less than $2 a day, and that 1 in 6 people live in extreme poverty, less than $1.25. But poverty is not actually just about a lack of money. It's about a lack of opportunities, a lack of choices, a lack of access to all sorts of things that many of us consider essential to life.
Made tremendous progress in reducing extreme poverty. But this progress has slowed down and is uneven. If this trend continues, the world will not be able to end extreme poverty by 2030. However, the extreme poverty picture shows an emerging divergence. While extreme poverty is still stubborn in some low-income countries, several others have made rapid strides in moving people out of extreme poverty. But that doesn't mean poverty is completely eradicated in those places. That means to make poverty history, we can't only rely on historical ways of measuring poverty. We are introducing higher standards for a growing world. People experience the benefits of poverty reduction. But for that, we need to piece together the poverty puzzle to understand its full impacts.
Poverty robs children of their innocence, limiting access to education, healthcare, and nutritious food. Poverty breeds crime, inequality, and social unrest, eroding the fabric of society.
$733 million people go to bed hungry every night. The empty plate at the dinner table. The school desk that remains vacant.
Subjects.
The despair of a hospital without medicine. 5 million children under 5 die yearly from preventable causes. Malnutrition. Lack of access to clean water. Life expectancy is significantly lower in poorer nations. Families without access to healthcare live in constant fear of illness. And without education, poverty persists. Poverty is not just a condition, it's a cycle. A relentless loop passed from generation to generation.
Palestine, once a land full of happiness and joy. It was a place where the laughter of children filled the air and brought smiles to everyone. A place where peace and harmony was the way of life. But then...
اللهم إني استودعتك خيارك اللهم أجرني في مصيبتي واخلف لي خيرا منها يا الله.
Climate change is threatening the safety and security of millions of people globally. It amplifies existing social, political, and economic tensions, encouraging competition for dwindling resources and ultimately fueling conflict. Climate change will increase the frequency of extreme weather events, crop failures, and droughts across the world. Many countries, particularly those currently or recently involved in conflicts, are already too fragile to deal with this increased pressure. Climate change is not just an environmental issue, it's also a human rights issue.
Human activities, from pollution to overpopulation, are driving up the Earth's temperature and fundamentally changing the world around us. The main cause is a phenomenon known as the greenhouse effect. Gases in the atmosphere, such as water vapor, carbon dioxide, methane, nitrous oxide, and chlorofluorocarbons, let the sun's light in, but keep some of the heat from escaping, like the glass walls of a greenhouse. The more greenhouse gases in the atmosphere, the more heat gets trapped, strengthening the greenhouse effect and increasing the Earth's temperature. Human activities, like the burning of fossil fuels, have increased the amount of CO2 in the atmosphere by more than 1/3 since the Industrial Revolution. The rapid increase in greenhouse gases in the atmosphere has warmed the planet at an alarming rate. While Earth's climate has fluctuated in the past, atmospheric carbon dioxide hasn't reached today's levels in hundreds of thousands of years. Climate change has consequences for our oceans, our weather, our food sources, and our health. Ice sheets, such as Greenland and Antarctica, are melting. The extra water that was once held in glaciers causes sea levels to rise and spills out of the oceans, flooding coastal regions. Warmer temperatures also make weather more extreme. This means not only more intense major storms, floods, and heavy snowfall, but also longer and more frequent droughts. These changes in weather pose challenges. Growing crops becomes more difficult. The areas where plants and animals can live shift, and water supplies are diminished. In addition to creating new agricultural challenges, climate change can directly affect people's physical health. In urban areas, the warmer atmosphere creates an environment that traps and increases the amount of smog. This is because smog contains ozone particles, which increase rapidly at higher temperatures. Exposure to higher levels of smog can cause health problems such as asthma, heart disease, and lung cancer.
And that concludes our in-depth report for tonight. As we've seen, the challenges of population growth, poverty, hunger, and malnutrition are not isolated issues. They are deeply interconnected with broader global phenomena such as food insecurity, gender inequality, armed conflicts, climate change, and migration. Together, these challenges form a complex web that directly influences the stability, equity, and progress of societies worldwide. However, there is hope. By fostering global cooperation, innovative solutions, and inclusive policies, we can address these pressing concerns and build a more resilient and equitable world. The road ahead may be difficult, but with shared responsibility and a commitment to sustainable development, change is within our reach. Thank you for joining us tonight in exploring these critical topics. Let us all continue to strive for a better and brighter future for everyone. Until next time, this is Taylor signing off. Good night.
We're getting on fire, we're raising up higher. The bottle is up.